Welcome to SDH's coverage of everything going on in MLS Next Pro. We'll take you back over the last 7 days, get you ready for the next 7 days. Very, very busy times in the East and the West, trying to determine who's going to be making runs for postseason play, where things stand, who's been making runs recently, and who has been challenging the top spots. We do have some interesting news when it comes to the wins and losses aspects of things coming up over the last 7 days, and that's where we'll start off, going over what happened in the last week. Last week on Friday Night Football, Philadelphia Union 2 and Wrexham played to a 1-1 draw at Subaru Park. Game was postponed or pushed back. It was delayed because of massive weather in the area. It got a late start. It was not the 7 o'clock start that they were hoping for at Subaru Park, but the match did finish up in a 1-1 draw as Wrexham's tour continued. Columbus Crew 2 came to Atlanta United 2, and they played at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground, and Columbus Crew 2 comes away with the 2-0 win over Atlanta United 2. And it was another loss for Atlanta United 2. It was a goal by Taha Habrun in the 50th, Coleman Gannon. 10 minutes later, they bounced back with the after the 6-2 loss to Union 2 last time out in the match before. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground, Columbus Crew 2 got the win. 2 goals 10 minutes apart, beating Atlanta United 2 by the score of 2-0. Also on the board on that Friday, there was the late match, 8-goal thriller between Houston Dynamo 2 and Real Monarchs in Harriman, Utah at Zions Bank Stadium. 5-3 your final as Houston Dynamo got the win on the road. In that one, it was a goal by Arias in the 9th minute that gave the Monarchs the lead, and then from there, business really did pick up. It was after Sinclair, it was Papa Ndoye for the Dynamo. In the 20th minute, Jude Wellings in the 46th, Isaiah Reed in the 49th, Kane Madlangove in the 58th, Ndoye again in the 57th and the 84th that gave him the hat trick on the night. And Isaiah Reed would also have a goal in the 58th minute, but the Ndoye hat trick gave Houston Dynamo the win on the road against Real Monarchs. On Saturday, Crown Legacy continued their winning ways atop the East with a 1-0 win over FC Cincinnati. And then St. Louis City 2 at City Park knocked off LAFC 2 by the final of 4-2. 6 goals on the board in that one. And St. Louis City 2 continued to pin LAFC 2 down at the bottom of the division. The way it all lined up, it was a goal in the 24th by Caden Glover, Joachim Nielsen in the 35th, John Klein in the 43rd. A minute later, Matthew Evans would score for LAFC 2, and it would be 3-1 at the break. Glover would get another one in the 71st for his brace. On the night, Leonardo Flores would score 5 minutes later, and that would be goal number 6 in the match. But LAFC 2 would end up losing. LAFC 2 has been finding their offense as of late, but they did lose on the road to St. Louis City 2 by the final of 4-2. Shot out at Choctaw Stadium in suburban Dallas, Texas. North Texas SC 4-0 winners over Portland Timbers 2. And it was 1 goal in the first half, and that would be it. Herbert Endley would score in the 38th to make it 1-0. Then a natural brace by Jose Mulato, 52nd and 56th, made it 3. And then Tomas Pandeca scored at 90+1 for the 4th goal in the night for North Texas. Big win for North Texas as they're trying to fight out of the bottom of the standings in their division and climb into the playoff discussion in the West. San Jose Earthquakes 2 at the National Sports Center knocked off Loons 2 by the final of 1-0. On Sunday, Tacoma Defiance at Starfire, 2-1 win over the Whitecaps in a battle of 1-2 in the Pacific. Hunt City continues their winning ways. Went on the road to Belson Stadium in Jamaica, Queens, beat NYCFC 2 by the final of 1-0. And a reminder, Nicky Law has left Hunt City, and he's now the new head coach of the Tampa Bay Rowdies in the USL Championship. So obviously everyone in Huntsville thanking Nicky Law for all of his service there in Hunt City. Now he's the new head coach for the Rowdies in USL Championship. Now our matches of the week. Starting off in the West, we'll go to Rock Chalk Park. Sporting Kansas City 2 and Colorado Rapids 2. Here's your highlights. Interesting result here, courtesy of our friends at MLS Next Pro and Apple TV.
Starting 11s on both sides, starting with Sporting KC2, led by head coach Benny Feilhamber. It is Ethan Bandre, has Adam Beaudry in goal, Jackson Travis, Blake Malone, as well as Daniel Garcia and Logan Batiste in front of Colorado in the maroon kits on the road. It's the light blue at home for Sporting KC2. And Remy Cabral gets things underway on a Sunday night. Vargas takes the ball for Kansas City. Vargas making a long run here, finds a free for left-footed, it gets past Beaudry, and Cruz puts it in! Bryant again. A free for into the middle, oh my goodness! Aledis Vargas, superhuman, 2-0 KC. Special stuff from Vargas, his second of the year. The half volley right out of the air, and he beats Beaudry. And in the 29th minute, a 2-0 advantage for SKC2. Service will come from Bryant. It's a good one in a dangerous area, and it's put in! Makidesh! Just a couple of days ago. Walty, 23 years old, 12 appearances and 7 starts with Austin. There's a good ball and another chance for Kansas City, and it's 4-0. Vargas runs this one down. See if they go to goal again. Shot is fired high, and there's the final whistle. An utterly spectacular performance tonight from Sporting Kansas City 2.
Colorado Rapids 2 end up with a loss, something we haven't said a lot this year. Only the second time that that's happened for Rapids 2 in 90 minutes. 4-0, Sporting Kansas City getting the big win there in Lawrence. And then our match from the East, we go to SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeview. Chicago Fire 2 hosting Revolution 2. Here's your highlights once again, courtesy of our friends at MLS Next Pro and Apple TV.
His attacking players at the top wants to see more goals from those guys because of what they can do offensively. And in the back, at that right back position for Revs 2, we are going to point out Peyton Miller, one of the youngest signings in team history. Mohamed Hassan, our head referee, blows his whistle, and Chicago in possession first in the navy blue jerseys with white numbers. They'll move from left to right on your screen. The movement for New England, taking their time, trying to break down the Chicago defense. Well done. Miller. Panayotou pumps it into the back of the net. This is Ostrom for Chicago. Leading goal scorer with 5, isolated against Sousa. Cross, drop down, another shot, and Noah Hernandez has the game-tying goal. Looking to tie things here on the road. Diaz blocked by Jeffrey Gall. 2-2. There were 2 stops made by Rochester. Hammers it home, and Chicago takes the extra point here at home on top of New England. Chicago and New England. Lamont Rochester puts the nail in the coffin here.
So Chicago wins 5-3 on PKs, getting the extra point there. And the last match, last Sunday, Austin FC 2 shuts out Los Dos by the final of 4-0. That one was at Palmer Field and St. David's Performance Center. In that one, you had 2 goals by PKs. It was a goal in the 12th minute by Micah Burton that would get things started for Austin FC 2. Then Alonzo Ramirez would score with the score 1-0 at the break. 15 minutes into the second half, Ramirez would score a PK to make it 2-0 in the 61st. Leo Torres for Austin FC would score 7 minutes later, and then yet another PK at 90+5 would put 4 on the board for Austin FC. Galaxy had to finish with 10 after a red to Schelotto with 20 to go. Meant that they would be a man short for the remainder of that match. So a big win for Austin FC 2 at home, taking on Los Dos, putting 4 on the board there with a final of 4-0. Monday night, big matchup in the East. Red Bulls at Montclair State beat Orlando City B by the final of 2-1. So that sets up our standings. Probably another week or so where we do things from a division standpoint, and then we'll do it from a conference standpoint as we go and we get closer to the end of the regular season. Northeast Division in the Eastern Conference, Crown Legacy now 8 points clear after 20 matches over New England Revolution. Red Bulls at 36 points. Then there's a bit of space. Union are at 30 points. NYCFC are at 26 points. And Toronto FC2, they are at 23 with a record of 5-10, 5-3. That fourth column is the extra point that you pick up in a shootout win, leaving a match with 2 points instead of 1. In the Central Division, Columbus Crew 2 with the win over Atlanta United 2, 37 points, 4 points clear of Orlando City B with a match in hand over OCB. Huntsville now at 28 points. On the road, they are 3-5-3 now after starting their first 7 on the road to start the season, 4-3-1 at Joe Davis. Huntsville, third right now in the division at 28 points. But then you get that big grouping. Chicago Fire 2, they are at 27 points. Atlanta United 2, and these two teams play on Thursday. Atlanta United 2 goes to Bridgeview with 24 points, only 3 points behind the Fire. FC Cincinnati is at 21 points. Inter Miami CF2, 14 points through 19 matches with a record of 4-13-2. They've given up 45 goals so far this season in those 19 matches. Western Conference, we mentioned only the second time this year on this show where we said that the Rapids have lost in regulation. 45 points, a record of 12-2-5-4 in 19 matches. 45 points, 5 points clear of Austin. Sporting Kansas City 2 at 35 points, safely in third. Then the fun starts in the rest of the division. Houston Dynamo at 29 points in the Frontier. Loons 2 at 28. St. Louis City 2 at 27. North Texas SC with their win is at 25. Pacific Division, Tacoma 6 points clear of the Whitecaps, 36 points to 30. But the Whitecaps have one more win than San Jose, who are also at 30 points, 8 wins to 7. Timbers 2 are at 24 points. Real Monarchs at 21. Los Dos are at 20. LAFC 2 with a record of 3-11-5 in their first 19 are at 14 points. So that's your standings in the East and the West as we get you ready for, once again, a very, very busy week when it comes to getting you ready for match day number 20. MLS Next Pro top 10 power rankings after match day 19 will go from 10 to 1. Union are at number 10, OCB at number 9, Red Bulls at number 8, Crew 2 at number 7, Sporting at number 6, Revs at 5, Tacoma Defiance at number 4, the Rapids dropping to number 3 after their second loss in regulation this year. Austin FC2 is now number 2, and Crown Legacy is the top team in the power rankings after match day 19. Your MLS Next Pro team of match day 19, Sporting Kansas City 2, for knocking off Colorado Rapids for the second time this year in 90 minutes. Along those same lines, the MLS Next Rising Star match day 19 is Natty Clark from Sporting Kansas City, and the MLS Next Pro player of match day 19, Papa Indoy, for his hat trick for Houston Dynamo in their win this week. Congratulations to everybody that was attached to the MLS Next Pro Invitational and what it was like to have Crystal Palace and what it was like to have Hoffenheim come and visit and take on the teams of MLS Next Pro. Really cool stuff to see out there at the MLS Next Pro Invitational. Looking forward to the next go-around of that tournament. Reminder that you can connect with MLS Next Pro in 2 ways other than the website at mlsnextpro.com. You can follow along on the 280-character app at MLS Next Pro and on Instagram at MLS Next Pro as well. Let's get you into the matchups coming up for this week. And we mentioned that on the 3rd, it is 2 games. Chicago Fire hosting Atlanta United 2. You can catch that one on MLS Season Pass. Atlanta United 2 on the road trying to snap a 4-game losing streak, and they're going to try to do that in Bridgeview. And that will be at 7 o'clock Eastern Time on your Thursday night. The other game that is on the board for MLS Next Pro on your Thursday, Crew 2 hosting TFC 2 at historic Crew Stadium. That one you can also catch at 7 o'clock on MLS Season Pass. Friday Night Football, the one match at Subaru Park, Philadelphia Union 2 hosting NYCFC 2, 7 o'clock. You can catch that one on MLS Season Pass. Saturday, a handful of matches because, once again, you're dealing with Leagues Cup competitions and along those same lines. So Inter Miami 2 on Season Pass, 6 o'clock at Drive Pink hosting Orlando City B. Colorado Rapids try to snap out of their 1-game losing streak. And they get to try to do it against the Whitecaps at 8 o'clock on Season Pass from the University of Denver Soccer Stadium. MLSNextPro.com at 8 o'clock Eastern Time Saturday, Loons 2 hosting North Texas. And at Providence Park, it is Timbers 2 at 10:30 on Season Pass hosting Tacoma Defiance. Sunday, half a dozen games to wrap up the weekend. It is Red Bulls at Gillette to take on Revolution. That one's on MLSNextPro.com at 6 o'clock. Houston Dynamo 2 at SaberCat Stadium hosting Sporting Kansas City on Season Pass. That one's at 7 o'clock. Hunt City back at Joe Davis to take on FC Cincinnati, 7 o'clock on Season Pass. City Park has St. Louis City 2 taking on Real Monarchs at 7 o'clock Eastern on Season Pass. Last one on Season Pass for your Sunday at Dignity Health Sports Park. It is Cali Classico, MLS Next Pro style. It is Los Dos hosting San Jose Earthquakes. That one's at 8 Eastern on Season Pass. MLSNextPro.com from Titan Stadium in the campus of Cal State Fullerton. LAFC 2 hosting Austin FC 2. Reminders, if you are in market and can catch any of these games, go for it. Some of the best talent that is the young talent that can be seen here attached to MLS teams is right there with you in MLS Next Pro. So hop in the door and watch the matches if you can. If you can't and you're in market and you still want to follow along on your local providers and social media channels. And if you're out of market and can't be there to support your favorite team or just keep an eye on what's going on in MLS Next Pro, what you can do is hop on either Apple TV and MLS Season Pass or MLSNextPro.com and watch the matchups however you can access them, large device or small. That's another go-around of everything in MLS Next Pro. Enjoy the action on the weekend. We'll catch up with you same time next week as we're past the halfway point of the season. Everybody trying to sprint to the playoffs. Going to get really interesting from here in the East and the West. For everybody here at SDH, I'm just John. Thanks for hanging out with us here for the SDH on MLS Next Pro.